Alright, so most of you guys know, about a year ago we started the School of Drift, and the goal for that was to be able to teach people and properly set up cars on a fun track with pro instructors and be able to excel them at driving. So we start with teaching people who barely know how to drive stick, and we turn them into people who can drift turns and link turns by the end of even just a 3-hour half-day class. I don't want to go too much into it, but if you want more information, just go to theschoolofdrift.org. So we've been doing this school at Pat's Acres, and the track's been awesome. The track owner and the track facility has been amazing to work with, and they actually repaved the entire track and changed quite a bit of it to help drifting and for some of their kart nationals. So most roads are made out of like 3/4 inch and smaller asphalt. Some are even larger, 1 inch. Obviously some are concrete as well. But the track here is made out of 1/8 inch and smaller pieces of asphalt and sealed. It's not top coat sealed, it's just the tar to put it together. And there's no seams on the entire track besides where they started and finished. So they actually drove around the entire track with the two machines in tandem, like very closely like this, and overlapping, so there's no seam in the middle of the track or anywhere else. They redid some of the curbing, and they redid a lot of the external sections and added on so that it would be better for drifting and karting both. And they added a water pit for tires, which helps tire consumption a ton. So I'll show you guys a little bit about what we did. All right, so we'll start off at turn 1. Obviously this is the fastest entry part of the track, and you'll be able to go just a tick faster because where I'm standing is where the track used to end, and now it goes all the way another 6 feet back and up to 8 feet in some sections. It also has a taper to it to let you know that you are over this white line. The goal is not to use all of this, it's to give yourself some sort of a runoff, so that way we're not digging the track up and causing this whole first turn to get really slick. What would happen, especially at events where it would be wet, people would go off track and then drive back on and bring all that mud onto the track. And then the whole first turn would be trashed for the next 40 laps. But in those 40 laps, someone would do it again. So the turn was trashed the entire time, just because people would blow off track and floor it and drive back on. So the goal here is we added some that you can use, but it's to make it so that you don't go off track. Because of that, we've also made a barrier now to stop you from going into the crowd and to go into off the track, because we've given you all this extra to slow down. So we want you to use it. If you don't, you're gonna catch this barrier. It's soft, it's dirt, it's probably not gonna total your car out or anything, but it'll probably mush some suspension up if you get in there going too fast. The taper up top, it goes off and starts leveling off flat. In the car, you can visually and physically see and feel it, so that you know you're on that track edge and you know you don't want to go any wider. So, a lot of people have broken wheels here, and they've really done a good job of making it impossible to break a wheel. You shouldn't be here anyway. You should be late apexing this and being 3 feet off the rumble strip, but chase car in the back of a 5-car tandem train or something might actually be there. So they had this huge section paved so you can put your front tires off over it. This is not a section where you can cheat the length of the track. Do not, if you're a lead car and you go over that, you're wrong. Don't do that. You should be out wide, exiting turn 2, and cutting a late apex across this. But this is sweet because there's no more divots there. Alright, so this is not really a section for drifters, but it does benefit us still a little bit. In karting, the second turn is really tight, and at the beginning of the race, there's sometimes 20 or 30 karts stacked up in this turn, and there's no exit for people to go off track safely. So they've built this here to be able to do that. If you're drifting, you should not ever be out here at all, because that means you blew the line big time in turn 2 anyway. But, you know, getting out to the white line or using a little bit of the extra should be fine, but there's no real reason to use that whole area. It's really just for mistakes or bailout, or now there's enough room in this turn where if you mess up, you can drive off and let the chase drivers pass on the inside. You know, there's plenty of room to do whatever you need to. It doesn't mean that you have to use it for every section. Alright, so this section of the track wasn't widened a ton visually, but it actually was, because before there used to be a huge hole and a crack right here about 3 feet in from the white line. So that's all gone, that you can use that section. And they've given you a little bit of extra room. Should be still going out to the white line, even maybe a little less here. And you do need to get out to the white line at the top of this little hill to get linked through into the back section. Also, they've widened the cut through for a short course. Put a nice rumble strip there as well, and they've widened the exit of the cut through. All right, so the back section of the track's always been a little bit tricky. It used to end about here, so we have another 4 feet of track, and there's no drop-offs or concrete additions, so it's all one surface all the way through. All right, so continuing on long course, the inside rumble strip here has been extended, so it's longer in the beginning and longer after, which is nice because it was very short before, and you could easily get a wheel on the inside of it where it starts and mess a wheel up. So you can easily get up onto the rumble strip where you need to now, because it's a little bit tough to extend that. I think with the longer extension width of the track and the better run through there, it'll be easier now, but with the rumble strip being there, it'll help so you don't damage your wheels. We've also widened it behind me as well, so that way you can get out wide, run the white line all the way, give it an extension before you get into the next turn. All right, so the back turn here, they've extended the rumble strip so it's longer, easier to get onto it without running over the corners of it. And then to the left of me, or to your right, they've extended this a ton, which is actually really nice for the drifters because you can get out wide, get a lot of angle and fill that zone on throttle without dropping a tire. This was a very common place when you came flying through here with good speed that you would get out wide and drop a tire there, even myself all the time. And they've added like 9 feet at the end of the zone. So you should be able to power through that, a lot of throttle, a lot of commitment, and it'll shorten the distance between this turn and the next. All right, so this turn, it's always been something that you didn't want to go wide on, A, because there's a tree right here, but obviously having some extra asphalt will give you grip to drive away from that if you do get in trouble. You shouldn't be ever past this yellow or this white line here, but we've added some here so that way you can stay on the throttle to drive yourself in. You shouldn't be using this, but if you need to, it's there. All right, so the back turn has always been the tightest turn on the track. It's not necessarily geometrically the tightest, but you're coming in with so much speed in this section. As you saw earlier, they widened that section, which allowed you to have a little bit more angle through here, but it's always tough to be able to stop in time. And this place is always dug out here. So usually what you want to do is be out very wide and late apex this, so that way you stay mid to wide track. But a lot of people blow it, go too fast, can't slow down, and they go out wide. So they've added this. This will basically just make it so you can go faster through this turn. All right, so going to the last couple turns of the track, they've widened the exit of this a ton. You can use it a little bit towards the end of it, but if you're using it in the beginning, you're way offline. And again, I can't stress enough with this track, the way they've added all of these extensions on the exit of turns. You're not supposed to be there anyway. Like, you can use it so that you don't go off track, but you're not supposed to be out wide around all these turns. It means you missed the line, you blew it. And if you can't stay on track now, like, you need to reevaluate what you got going on because you're clearly not paying attention to anything that's going on in front of you when you're drifting. All right, so going into the last turn, they've widened this about 2.5 or 3 feet. The line is actually wider than where it was before. And then on the exit of the turn, they've widened it a ton, which you really shouldn't necessarily be up there anyway, but it'll stop again for the dirt dropping. So on most roads and almost all racetracks, there's obviously seams. So when they pave it, it's usually a little bit wider than this track, and you'll see lines from when they paved over top of it. And here they just ran 2 of the machines side by side and set them up to do the width of the track without doing that. And they put 1 seam on the entire track. And it's right here. It's on the last turn, and we don't even drift it. So this should stay together forever. There's no seams anywhere else on it. So the guys did a really phenomenal job on all that. Just wanted to show you guys like what the seam looks like, and you guys would usually see that in the middle of turns and whatnot at other tracks. All right, so this is normal race grade asphalt. It's like a 1/2 inch minus, which is still half the size of a regular road. And you can see some of the pieces here are about a 1/2 inch. And then this is the track surface itself here. And you can see it's all very, very small. A couple pieces from here are mixed in, but on the actual asphalt of the track, it's no big sections at all. And this is so smooth. And then behind me is the water pit. I'll thank Club Loose for this because they were the first people to make an active water pit. The guys up in Jersey at Englishtown. So we basically made a little bit of a copy of what they've got going on off to the left side of the track. It's about 8 inches deep. so the water can be about 4 inches and not come up over at all. And you drive through there to cool your tires. And normally it makes your tires last about twice as long as normal. So this will be filled up during events, so people, when they finish the track, they shut down. They don't drift the last turn anyway, and then they just pull through here before they get back in line. Parc has been nice enough to do all this, so like I said earlier, make sure you're staying on track and not going off. And if you do for some reason go off, try to go straight. Try not to do burnouts. I mean, there's plenty of asphalt there now, so you shouldn't be going off anyway, but it's inevitable that it might happen. So try to keep it nice so we can keep drifting at Parc and enjoy this for as long as we can. And make sure you like, subscribe, and check out some of the rest of my videos. Probably if you have a question about drifting, there's an answer in my videos. I see a lot of people commenting saying, oh, like, why wouldn't you do this? And I'm like, there's an entire like vlog about that. So go watch it, go see what's up. And if you have any questions, search, use the internet.